Hello, yes, I already did this video, but that was like a million years ago, and to be honest, that video is kind of bad, so we're doing it again. Like, seriously, what is this? I am not a huge fan of Kingdom Hearts 2. I don't hate it, but it's a very mid-tier Kingdom Hearts experience for me, which kinda sucks because it's probably one of the best from a gameplay perspective. The combat is solid fun. On one hand, you can shut the brain off and just mash that X button with a bit of triangle sprinkled in as a treat, and alternatively, you can build out different combos that chain together in fun ways. Plus, there are drive forms and limits and summons and just a whole heckin' lot of spectacle. But man, even on my initial playthrough, I remember being hit with pangs of disappointment. Full disclosure, I adore every bit of nonsense surrounding the series. The gameplay, the plot, the character designs, hell, I even like the Sleeping Realm theory. It's this fan theory that suggests that all of Kingdom Hearts 3 takes place in a dream, but not in the hand-wavy, oh it's all a dream and doesn't matter kind of way, but in the way that there are rules and logic built into the lore of the series that makes sense of the nonsensical ending of Kingdom Hearts 3 and solidifies the Soriku ship. The fist clenching is important. Like, self-restraint. All of this to say, even though I'm complaining about the design of Kingdom Hearts 2, it all comes from a place of love. I adore this franchise, but ooh, the level design in Kingdom Hearts 2 is so lame and uninspired. So leave your comments, likes, and subscribes down below at patreon.com/startown. As many of y'all know, Kingdom Hearts came into existence because two nerds walked into an elevator and started writing fanfiction combining their OCs.
A soft bell chimed at the entrance of the boho chic cafe. Cloud Strife looked up from the glass he was polishing. His Mako green eyes met the gentle gaze of his customer, and from across the room, his customer spoke.
Say fellas, did somebody mention the door to darkness?
For anyone unfamiliar with the plot, this is 100% canon to the game. Anyways, this premise is the foundation for the entire series. Sure, the original characters of this world have developed into a dumpster fire hot mess of lore all their own, but hanging out with these two jarringly different intellectual properties has been the massive draw of the series. Kingdom Hearts 1 is one of my favorites because I think it did this fusion well. In hindsight, I can admit the controls are totally jank, but busted as a lot of them were, I found the environments incredibly fun to explore. Climbing through the jungle and sliding down trees, uncovering every nook and cranny of the Bazaar Room, plundering the streets of Agrabah and the Cave of Wonders. I really liked adventuring in every world, and also Monstro was there. The experiences they offer were pretty unique. Wonderland and Halloween Town both task you with fetch quests, and they both offer weird ways to explore the map, but their approaches to exploration are informed by the source material, and as a result they feel very different. And sure, with this greater variety, it meant a lot of these maps were kinda tough to fully figure out, and sure, having a map would have made the whole experience a bit smoother. Atlantica would have been a lot less confusing, but hey, you wanna know where a map is completely unnecessary? The entirety of Kingdom Hearts 2. Fuck. This game is just a bunch of flat rooms and straight lines. The Cave of Wonders is not a mysterious labyrinth of treasures and goodies. It's a line of 4 rooms where you slap some dudes, do some minigame that I still don't fully understand, slap some dudes with a time stipulation, and then slap some dudes in a dark-ish room. Kingdom Hearts gets to work with these iconic worlds that get to be influential to an entire generation's childhood. And ooh, they just bumble-fumble the execution. This game is just a bunch of boring hallways. In some instances like Beast's Castle, that's perfectly fine. In an engaging gauntlet like this one instance in Land of Dragons, it's fine. But every world is just a bunch of linear corridors. Pirates of the Caribbean is just a bunch of rooms in a line. And sure, technically this isn't flat, but it certainly isn't interesting at all either. There is so little verticality to this game. Obviously, I would love the stuff I mentioned earlier, like dense jungles and sub-levels of wonder to my Cave of Wonder, but apparently that bar is too high for Kingdom Hearts 2. You don't have to jump in this game. When I was talking about this 3 years ago, I made a joke saying the only places you are required to jump are here, here, and here. But apparently I wasn't wrong because Skyward Ring just re-uploaded a video last year where he proves you can beat Kingdom Hearts 2 without jumping. That's how lame the Disney worlds are in Kingdom Hearts 2. Your descent into the underworld is more like a gradual decline. Spaces that could have interesting relationships to one another don't. There's nothing to think about while traveling because the world offers you nothing aside from things to hit. Any semblance of exploration and connectivity to the world through discovery is stripped away because the game does a lot to funnel you down plot-relevant corridors. Oh, but Isaac, not all the worlds are linear rooms. You got some big areas like this part of Agrabah, and this part of the Olympus underworld, and the Pride Lands is really big and neat. And sure, these rooms are bigger, but they suck just as much as a small corridor. Actually, you know what? They are more lifeless than these little corridors. They're just big open spaces to hit things. If you take out the enemies, there's nothing engaging about these types of rooms. You got like a tree over there, that's a candelabra, nice and tall, yeah. Oh, I like that boulder. That is a nice boulder. Pride Lands is just so boring. Big open worlds aren't impressive unless there's a greater point to them. Later games played with larger spaces much better, but also Kingdom Hearts 1 played with larger spaces better. So what are you doing with your life, Kingdom Hearts 2? These games also implemented a lot of different movement options to make these rooms more compelling. Pop quiz, do you know what the solution in Kingdom Hearts 2 was for navigating the big stupid empty lifeless rooms? Skateboards. I hate everything the skateboards represent in these games. They do 1 pip of damage, which can be a fun novelty for like 30 seconds, but its main deal is to get you moving faster through these boring ass rooms. They could have implemented his movement abilities like aerial dodge or dash, but they locked those behind a stupid amount of very specific grinding and instead slap a skateboard down at the entrance of these bigger rooms. Quick side note, I'm not much a big fan of the platforming obstacles to get to the post-game data fights. I know it's basically what I'm asking for, but it is too little too late. You have to max out your skills, which like I said, tedious as fuck. But also, it's at the end of the game and it doesn't make the Disney worlds more compelling. Okay, back to complaining about skateboards. Skateboards make the game less boring because you can travel through the world quicker, but that's not a good thing. The worlds are void of personality and the skateboard is just a bandage to cover it all up. It doesn't even thematically make sense. Why is there a skateboard in Agrabah or Space Paranoids? Maybe it's supposed to be a nod to Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure? I don't know, but their inclusion in the game irks me to no end. On top of that, minigames surrounding them are whack. Transitional kickflip. So not only do they drain the life out of all these Disney worlds by making them rooms in a line, but they also remove any semblance of unique interactability. Kingdom Hearts 1 had a lot of variety to how you experience their worlds. And just like everything else, it was kinda jank, but I missed it when playing Kingdom Hearts 2. I enjoyed collecting the ingredients for a heart in Halloween Town, and solving the puzzles in the Cave of Wonders, and cooking up items in Deep Jungle. Aside from this present packing minigame in Halloween Town, the Disney worlds are void of unique minigames. 100 Acre Woods doesn't count because that's its whole shtick. And outside of these handful of minigames, most interactions are just combat scenarios. And again, I don't hate these scenarios, but the missions are like hit stuff to defend Timon and Pumbaa, hit enemies before the timer runs out, and hit stuff to collect Make a Man Out of You orbs. And they all feel the same. The combat conditions do very little to change my mashing strategy. So even though they've developed this robust combat system with all these different shiny bells and whistles, it all felt sort of samey to me. Late game challenges like Sephiroth and data fights definitely require you to put more thought into how you're fighting, but for most of the game it doesn't really matter what you do. Everything in Kingdom Hearts 2 is in service of whacking Heartless. It's all brainless fun with lots of options and no wrong answers. On the other hand, you have a smaller move pool in Kingdom Hearts 1, but there's a wider application of uses, and even if they aren't the most complicated uses, they add little bits of life and character that just don't persist into the sequel. And lots of these little nuances never came back until Kingdom Hearts 3. I already made a quick video about it, so watch that if you want, but those world elements are generally what I'm personally more interested in. Making my interactions with the environment more compelling holds way more value than a lot of combat variety that doesn't iterate well on a casual level. I just wish Kingdom Hearts 2 had a bit more flair to its Disney identity. If more development time was intentionally taken away from world building and instead focused on combat, I think it paid off in the long run. Combat and action is pretty well iterated on in pretty much every game following Kingdom Hearts 2. But like I said at the beginning, I'm always a little bummed out because in the back of my mind, I know that there's a lot more that could be done in the way of designing the environments. Anyways, that's been me ranting about a game that's like over 15 years old. And I'm glad that the Disney worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3 actually felt unique, and hopefully that carries over to the future of the franchise. Thanks for watching and let me know your thoughts down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, hello there. So first off, thanks so much for watching the video, and thanks to the patrons as well for supporting these videos. I really appreciate that. Videos are going to be changing for the next few months. I'm making a game, and that's taking up a lot of my time and energy, so I'm going to be changing how I do some videos around here to make them a little bit more expedited. And if you want to hear more about those games, stick around. I'm going to be talking about that real soon. But also, if you want to go to the patreon.com/startown, I'm going to start leaking some behind the scenes stuff over there. So go on ahead and check that out if you're interested. Nothing much else to say, so have a good day. Bye-bye.